And this makes me think of when I first got saved, because my mother wasn't a Christian. I had 7 brothers and sisters, and one of my brothers had gotten saved, and we all thought he was crazy. And I was growing up in Malibu, and my mom was a maid, and she's like, look, you're getting a good start in Malibu, you're around all these rich people, and maybe you'll be rich one day, so you can't get caught up in all that Jesus stuff, because it'll ruin your life, so stay away from your brother Sanford, because all he talks about is Jesus. And then I went on, and I was like dating this white girl, and she was Jewish, and then her parents wouldn't let me date her, and they were like, you're a great guy, best guy she's ever brought home, probably the best guy she'll ever bring home, but you're black. And I crushed my heart. And then I went to the beach. This is all a true story. Went to the beach. I'm yelling at God. You made me black. You put me in a white world around all these rich Jewish people. I'm like, I hate you, God. So then I went to a psychologist, and the psychologist was like, well, you know, maybe you should try another white girl. I'm like, I mean, back then I wasn't thankful. I was like, that's pretty stupid. So then I went into rap music. I was an angry dude, 80s rap, Public Enemy, Fight the Power. And then that whole thing fell apart. And then I was on a beach with a diary, plotting how I was going to kill myself. Something said, go buy a Bible. So I went to the bookstore, bought the Bible. I said, I'm going to read the Bible and take my life. When God says, why should I let you in? I'm going to say, I read the Bible. And then I remember my brother, all he talked about was Jesus. Like he wasn't seminary trained. Jesus said this, and Jesus did this. And did you know this about Jesus? And Jesus, and Jesus, and Jesus. And that's all he talked about. So I said to the lady, I need a Bible that I can see what Jesus said. And she goes, oh, a red letter? I said, I don't know. I wasn't born in church, right? You know what I mean? There was no Chick-fil-A back then, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, there was no Sin Network. None of this stuff existed. It's like Stone Ages, like 87. So I get the Bible, and I'm flipping through, and I start finding the red letters in Matthew chapter 3, verse 14, and I just read the red letters. And when I got to chapter 8, and the leper comes to Jesus and says, if you're willing, you can make me clean. And Jesus says, I'm willing. And then you flip to chapter 9, and you have the paralytic, and he says to the paralytic, my son, today your sins are forgiven you. And I was in love with Jesus. I just wanted Jesus. And I didn't know. There was no sin missionary. There was none of this stuff. I was in Malibu. It was like Shirley MacLaine. Later, after I saved, I would go to the Jewish people, and I go, could you tell me the 10 Commandments? They're like, what? I was like, you got bar mitzvah. You don't even know the 10 Commandments. Like, it was crazy. But I just knew Jesus, and I loved Jesus. I didn't know church. Like my mom's boss's architect came over. He's the first person that took me to church. And you know what's so sad? It's 32 years later, I go long seasons without that passion for Jesus. And I got theology, and you gotta hear Crawford stuff on soul care and all this kind of stuff. But I long to be a child again, to be in love with Jesus. And the reason why we struggle with conformity is because we don't have the why. We got the brand, we got mission statement, we got values, but if we don't have the why, you don't have that thing that you value most. And you'll only imitate and be conformed to the thing that stands out to you. Paul had that why. Now, I want to talk in my remaining time about, we got this